Hey, if you like this content and the series on retro guns, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and if you could, become a member. Thank you. We have another retro accessory from China. This is a retro style scope that would go on your early M16A1s and that. I got this off of the Big A for 85 units, something around there. Now Brownells, they have one that they, back 6 years ago, they said, hey, this is an accessory, we got this, blah, blah, blah. 350 units, and the same feedback, complaints, and everything were what I found on this one on the website I bought it from. So let's see what we got in the box. Now, supposedly, this one is made in China. Supposedly the Brownells were made in the same factory in Japan as the original scopes were made back in the 60s and what have you. I'm going to get this out of the box. Here, hold on. The box is pretty sturdy and it came well packaged, and it's wedged in between this soft styrofoam, and all you get's a little folder and the actual unit itself. And we get the instructions, how to use it, and all of that. It's one sheet instructions. Once you unfold it, tells you how to mount it, zero it, and explains how to use the reticle. Okay, and a little cloth. This one does come with lens covers, which is pretty cool. Now these scopes, back in the day, you know, you see a lot of feedback. They don't hold zero, they don't mount well. How much usage, or if these were deployed much in the service, I have no idea. I mean, there's a lot of people that make videos about it, and all the influencers tell you it's the greatest thing to get. But I remember these back years ago. They didn't really hang on well with the mounting system that's there. They did move. They were more of a pain and an added expense. I think I've only had one that I mounted on a carry handle a long time ago, but I ended up liquidating that firearm with the scope. But this thing looks identical, other than the markings, to the one that Brownell sells. This is a pretty basic thing. I believe this is 4x20, so it's a 4 power. I have no idea what the plus and minus is. You got a drum up here. We'll take a closer look at this. Okay, this is a pretty basic item. There's no batteries in this. Then you look through and you have markings there. You have this top turret and numbers 1 through 5. And what you would do is zero this at 100, and then once you ranged, if your bullet drop compensator all the way out to 500 yards. So you would zero it at 100. Now, why do I have a nickel and dime here? Well, this thing was tight. I was trying to get it off. And in the old days, a lot of these scopes were made to where your tool was in your pants pocket. You take a dime, a nickel will not fit in that slot. You take a dime, break it loose, and then this cap comes off. And there is your elevation. Now this will take the edge of a US nickel and fit in that slot. And then you can adjust it that way out in the field. So if you're doing this the old-fashioned way, a lot of scopes, that's what they told you in the old days, use a dime or a nickel. And a nickel happens to fit right in this one too. So this, I believe, is your elevation. This is your windage adjustment here. And the other top of the castle is your bullet drop in yards from 1 to 500 yards. It's a very simple construction on this tube. It's a very simple device, and it has the mounting setup to go into the carry handle. That's what that hole in there is for. We'll go and try to mount this on the upper receiver. I'll try to show you. But yeah, these things, even back in the old days, the way it mounts and the way it is on top of the scope, there's a guy, he's out there shooting, I guess, an original one on a repro or a retro gun, and he's shooting out to 500 yards and he can get hits on steel with it, so I'm not quite sure. But let me get this thing back together. But remember, always have a nickel and a dime in your pocket for scope adjustments. That's the old timer's way of doing it. Okay, to mount this scope, it's been a lot of years, but I have this stripped upper to show you, and the hole in there is what we're going to use. So you take this thing, and I'll show you what it looks like. This whole mechanism, you use this little lever right here. You push that, and you want to go counterclockwise to loosen this. And eventually you'll see the whole assembly comes up, and just spin it off the rod. So this is what you'll end up with, okay? And what this is, it's a piece of spring steel, okay, and then this nut will turn, this lever turns this nut in the center to tighten it down. So what you would do is on your receiver, you'd find where the hole is, take your scope, put it through the hole. Hopefully I can show you what that should look like in there, like that, okay? So then you would take the rifle like this, with this whole assembly, line it up, don't cross-thread the screws, take your time, line this up, and then you turn it clockwise. Let me zoom in here. Now, watch closely. You turn it clockwise until turn the whole damn thing clockwise until that spring. See this steel is starting to bind? Then you'd hold that down and then just turn this little lever on the top here. Turn this thing. And what that does is that draws that spring steel, which is this thing here, this metal part, this will draw it down. And you keep turning this. Now this is the thing, how tight you want to go, I don't know. You don't want to go too tight. And then it'll lock into place like that. And you want it either backward or forward, just like it is here. You don't want it like hanging out the side or anything like that. Okay, so you get it to where you feel comfortable with it, And see the thing, the reason this thing kind of sucks, go back and take a look at it. The way that holds on there, that spring steel, that spring is the tension. Okay, and you turn that nut to squeeze that onto the actual frame itself. Now, these things, it's not the best scope mount. That seems to be on there pretty firm. If it'll hold the 0 when you go back, because there's a lot of room and there is some play. If you take that off, you'll feel some play in there. So these things were never that precise or good. What it does is gives you a low-powered optic on this gun to kind of assist you in sighting it in, or to give you a little bit better sight picture range to improve the accuracy of the weapon. But I don't know. We'll take it out and we'll try this. We'll zero it at 100 and see what it does. But that's it. That's how you mount it on there. And like I said, the retro, when I went and looked at the feedback, it was almost identical from the one for 350 units as compared to this one. Except with the big A, you do have people complain that it looks like the thing was returned. It was taken out and repackaged and returned. This one didn't. This one looks pretty good. Doesn't look like anyone has taken this out of the box. So again, you know, this isn't a high dollar scope, but I swear it looks, if you look at pictures of them, it looks identical to the one that Brownell sells. So I'll take my chances and see what it does, and see if we can do anything with this. But yeah, go on, just look it up. You go on the Big A's website and check it out. And maybe once the weather breaks here, I'll get out and take this out on my retro. Or if I get this build done, we'll put it on this build and check it out. All right, guys.